I loved Scooby-Doo as a kid. There's no denying it. When I was at my Oma's place when I was little, it felt like almost every hour there's a Scooby-Doo episode. And to this day, whether it's a new Scooby-Doo episode or an old Scooby-Doo episode, if I see Scooby-Doo while I'm looking through my TV guide, I can't help myself but just to check it out, what's going on for the first 5 to 10 minutes. And that's not denying anything. I still like watching some Scooby-Doo every once in a while. And when I heard they were teaming up with WWE to do a movie, I was like most of the internet, kind of like, oh god, this is going to be bad. But, I like to come into things with open minds. And you better believe when I heard Scooby-Doo and WWE's WrestleMania Mystery was coming out, I said, you know what? I will watch it. And when I do watch it, I will review it. Now, if you guys are wondering, Chase, are you going to be spoiling anything? Oh, no, no, no. I'm not spoiling anything for you guys. I'm just going to give you guys a basic plot of what this movie's about. But if you guys want to check out the movie yourself, in the description box, there's going to be the link. It's going to be 2 links. It's divided into 2 parts. That's the video service I use to watch it. So go check that out. It's also going to be on my website, chillingwithchase.wordpress.com. That's pretty much it. Shout out to my boy Jerry at WWTNAFanV2 for hooking me up with this. I was excited when he did. I mean, I was just like, oh, I can't wait to watch this movie. And now I'm going to be reviewing this movie for my Road to WrestleMania series. All right, let's just get started with this one, with the plot. So the plot's simple. There's a giant bear, a wrestling bear. It's red, it's scary, it's hairy, and it's attacking WWE City. And what's WWE City, you ask? It's pretty much the WWE Network come to life. All things WWE go through WWE City. And so pretty much this wrestling bear is threatening to destroy WrestleMania. But you know what? Our heroes Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, they win a contest and they're going to WrestleMania. And of course they stumble across this bear. And what does Mystery Incorporated do when they stumble across a creepy-ass monster trying to destroy things? They have to solve the damn mystery, and that's what they do. They're solving the mystery here today, and that's pretty much it. Now, the archetypes, we all know the archetypes of the Scooby-Doo characters. Scooby and Shaggy are the bumbling guys. A lot of people like to make pop references with them. You get the idea of what Scooby and Shaggy are. Daphne is normally the damsel in distress, the love interest for Fred. Fred is the genius, makes traps that don't work because Scooby and Shaggy mess up half the time, but it ends up working near the end of the day. And Velma is the geeky girl of the group. We know those archetypes, but when it comes down to how they are presented to the WWE Universe and as WWE fans, their archetypes are hilarious. Scooby and Shaggy are like the 2 little kids that love professional wrestling and love it to death, and they just want to go to WrestleMania, and they're so giddy inside. It made me feel like a kid watching them be giddy about it. Daphne's archetype in this one is she's like the mom. You know how sometimes moms are when it comes to wrestling, or your big sister or a girl that's not really into wrestling, but when they see those guys take off their shirts, they start loving wrestling. They think wrestling's awesome because they have hot guys in it. She's like all the casual women audience members out there. She loved it when John Cena took off his shirt. She was like, I didn't know wrestlers were so hot. I mean, strong. And so Daphne was loving it. Fred is like the casual dad in this one, where his archetype is like, he brings a camera. He's like, yeah, I'll go with you. He's not really into wrestling, but he's down for anything. He's just like, sure, why not? To make my kids happy. Like I said, Scooby and Shaggy are the kids in this situation. Now, Velma's I liked a lot because I'm an internet smart. Most of the people who watch my videos are internet smarts. One day, kids, if you're watching this video, you will find out what an internet smart is if you're still a wrestling fan. And parents, keep your kids off the internet when it comes down to being an internet smart, because it's not fun sometimes. Velma tries to break down WWE with logic and reason. It's so hilarious. There's a moment where she's all watching the match and she's trying to read the rules and say, how is this possible? Kind of like what I do on my WWE Raw reviews and my pay-per-view reviews, where I try to break down what the heck is going on for you guys. Like, that's what Velma does, and it's hilarious. And she has a mark-out moment in this, kind of like us, how wrestling fans, how we have our own personal mark-out moments. I loved her archetype. It doesn't really show much in the film, but in the beginning, you guys know what I'm talking about. Then we move on forward to the voice actors of the wrestlers. John Cena is in majority of this movie. He did a very good job with his voice acting. He felt flat at times, but other than that, I felt he did a very good job with his voice acting. Sin Cara does not talk. He really does not talk. He does a bunch of moves, which John Cena translates to. So pretty much John Cena does Sin Cara's work as well. Brodus Clay. Now, let me just say this. Every time he says funk, it makes him sound like he's saying another F word. An F word us older people know what it is. So be warned when you're watching this movie. You might get confused what Brodus Clay is saying. Santino Marella was terrible. His accent was too hard. You could barely understand him at times. I was just like, man, is this Santino or just some random dude they found off the street doing a bad Santino impression, man? Like, if you needed someone to do Santino for this movie, I could have done it. I could have done it, Santino Marella. Yeah, see, like, it's very terrible. It doesn't really sound like Santino. AJ Lee did good in this movie. Kane was flat at times. I like some of Kane's words, and I like how Kane delivered his lines, but at the times he felt flat. I felt The Miz was hilarious. When you see what happens to The Miz and what Miz says, you will say, okay, Miz, you did a good job in this movie. I felt Miz was hilarious with his lines. Triple H was the biggest disappointment. I was expecting the Game to have a bigger role in this movie of the Scooby-Doo But Triple H just disappointed, and I was very sad about it. I mean, he has an epic scene in this movie that only Triple H could have, But other than that, I was very disappointed with Triple H's voice in this movie, and I felt that they needed more of Triple H, Vince McMahon, he killed it. This was Vince McMahon, baby. Yeah, there were some times where there was a drop-off of quality that he was producing with his lines, but other than that, he killed it. I really loved Vince McMahon in this movie. I felt he did a very good job with this. It sounded like what Vince McMahon would say. Vince McMahon was no holds barred a little bit in this movie with how he delivered. Oh, I just loved it. Vince McMahon was awesome in this movie. Great job by Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Oh, I just loved Vince in this movie. Overall, the WWE Superstars did a very good job with their voice actings. There was 3 guys that pretty much did a very good, that really carried most of the voice acting for the WWE Superstars, and also AJ Lee as well. She's not really a guy, so I can't count her as a guy, but they did a pretty good job with their movie. The theme songs hit at certain times during the movie, and John Cena's theme song hits at the perfect time. If you're a hardcore wrestling fan like myself, if you don't laugh when John Cena's theme, or if you take wrestling too seriously, then I guess that's how you are. But if you don't laugh when John Cena's music hits at a certain point during this movie, I don't know what your problem is, because it is hilarious. I was dying in laughter. I had to watch that scene 3 times just because I couldn't believe they played the music at this time. Now, when it comes down to it, for hardcore wrestling fans that take wrestling very, very seriously, there is not serious wrestling in this movie. A lot of this movie is with kayfabe. And I'm not going to explain what the term kayfabe is, just in case children and parents are watching, because you hardcore wrestling fans know what kayfabe is. There's a serious kayfabe in this movie. Understand this. They don't break kayfabe. So, just understand some of the stuff you see in this movie is very imaginative, especially inside of the wrestling ring. Michael Cole does a very good job calling the action. Much more better than he does on Monday Night Raw. That's for damn sure. But there is serious kayfabe in this movie. Don't take it super seriously. That's all I got to say. When it comes down to it, the in-ring action, remember back in the day with Mucha Lucha, and I believe there was a Fox wrestling show. I can't remember what it was called, but it was a cartoon wrestling show. The dude had a spike for a mohawk. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was an anime show. The wrestling is very animated. It's not like real-life wrestling. If you're expecting real-life wrestling in this match, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get real-life wrestling in this movie. If you want to watch some fun little animated wrestling and just laugh at it, go right ahead. This is the movie for you. But when it comes down to it, the wrestling is not realistic. It's very, very cartoony, which I don't mind because this is a cartoon freaking movie. This is not supposed to be a real-life movie. Now, if this was a real-life movie and I was seeing this stuff, I would be like, okay, that's kind of not real. But I digress. So the wrestling action in this movie is very cartoony. I was actually surprised by the production of it. I thought it was really, really good choreographed wrestling for what it was, especially for a cartoon. I thought it was better than some of the stuff you would watch back in the day on Mucha Lucha. And Mucha Lucha I loved because it was a fun little wrestling cartoon. So, in all honesty, I was impressed with the WWE did with the little cartoon effects. So, good job on this part. Now, as for the movie itself, is it good? Is it bad? What is it? I personally enjoyed it for what it was. It's a decent movie at best. I don't think it's a really good movie. I felt there could have had some tweaks. The plot is pretty much like any Scooby-Doo episode. Like, remember back in the day when Scooby-Doo used to meet a celebrity? Like, he would meet the Harlem Globetrotters and Batman. Those are the more popular episodes people remember. That's pretty much what it is. It's like when Scooby-Doo in the game would meet those celebrities. That's how it is. It's like Scooby-Doo travels. They meet the WWE superstars. They solve a mystery together. They leave the plot points of who could be the guy in the bear suit. It's very, very interesting. I felt sometimes, though, that we didn't get an answer to certain parts of the plot. Like, there was this one character that they brought into the movie, and we don't really get an answer for him at the end. And I kind of just said, what was the point of this character? Because at the end of the movie, we don't really get to know what his purpose is or what his role was and what he was doing the whole time. Because normally when they do introduce a character, they kind of give a backstory of like, oh, this guy actually helped us out in the end of it all. And you're like, oh, okay, so that's what this guy was there for. That's why he was introduced. So in all honesty, there's some plot points. But other than that, I really did like this movie. I don't think it's a great movie. I don't think it's a good movie. It's a decent one at best. If you're a fan of if you were a fan of Scooby-Doo, or if you are currently still a fan of Scooby-Doo, you will definitely like this movie. If you're a fan of Scooby-Doo and professional wrestling, I think you will enjoy this movie like I did. And if you are someone like me who's an internet smart and just wants to relive a want to relive your childhood a bit and watch a Scooby-Doo movie with wrestling, this is definitely a movie for you. I definitely do give this movie a thumbs up. It's definitely a C movie. It's a C+. I would give it a C+. I don't think it's a really great movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. But at the same time, it's worth the enjoyment. It's definitely something you should check out if you have free time and if you like Scooby-Doo. If you don't like Scooby-Doo and you don't like wrestling, don't waste your time. If you're a Scooby-Doo fan, I think you'll like this movie. Just treat it as one of those celebrity episodes back in the day that were an hour long, except this one is 80 minutes. This is like any other Scooby-Doo episode you've ever seen. That's all I gotta say. So anyways, guys, if you guys liked me, you can subscribe down below. Comment down below your thoughts. If you're going to watch this movie, if you're going to check out this movie, if this review helped you any, check out my website, chillingwithchase.wordpress.com. You can follow me on Twitter at ChaseOliver68. If you want, you can Snapchat me, ChaseOliver68. And if you just want to look at me in picture form, Instagram, Chase_C_Oliver. Can you believe someone stole ChaseOliver68 on Instagram? Whoever that is, I hate you. I really do. But other than that, I am out of here. Or you can Skype me at ChaseOliver68. Alright, anyways, guys, I'm out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. This is a part of my Road to WrestleMania series. I got another video for you guys coming. A lot of videos are going to be coming out this week, so if you see a lot more videos from me, just know I have a lot more free time. My school is kind of laxing up a bit because we're near spring break, so not a lot for me to do. My midterms are not coming up until 2 weeks, so I got to produce as much videos before WrestleMania. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here. Peace!